Share a folktale. Post your country. Share a folk story, myth, or a fairy tale from it.
You know, there's something about fairy tales. I was hearing the other day, apparently stories like all them Grimm tales, a lot of people believe they are genuinely ancient, over 6,000 years old.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they're a lot older than what people
think they are.
And we've actually got no idea. But there's been some find. It's really interesting. I'll try and get it up at the end, maybe if I find it.
Slovakia. There is a mountain called Stinto.
I can already hear the Liam. Sorry, guys. We can hardly speak English, so don't expect us to be...
I don't know. Where a legion of knights sleep, awaiting the day where their people need them the most so they can ride out and meet the forces of evil. It seems this is a very common legend, because I know for sure Czechs have their own mountain like this, and I think Poles do too.
That sounds very Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't it? It's.
I don't know. See, Eastern Europe gives me the heebie-jeebies. Not just because of what's going on at the minute.
Yeah.
But just in general, I just think that because it's very old. I don't know.
I believe that folk stories and fairy tales that originate from a country.
Not that I have anything wrong with Czechs or Poles.
Yeah, you guys are just
No, not that way.
I believe that stories that are passed down like that, I believe you can tell a lot about the culture and the people. Yeah. A brilliant one for us is Finn Mccoll. And what's the difference between Finn Mccoll and Tyson Fury? I'm not going to get into the story of Finn Mccoll, but is there much difference? And also, see, when it comes to Irish travelers, I believe they are the last true Celts of Europe. Okay, they've got the local hard man mentality. They
bare knuckle fighting.
They're really into their horses.
They'll steal your knickers off the line.
They're pastoral people. They're always moving about, much like...
They'll steal your shoelaces.
Yeah.
Italy. In northern Italy, there are these weird witches and warlocks who only wear black clothes called Strego. I'm trying, guys. Yeah, goths.
The local goth community.
They live only in the forests, hanging around in the trees, and they rarely touch the ground. If you stumble on one at night, he/she will ask you, "For whom is the night?" And you must answer, "For me, for you, for everyone who in the night walks." Do that, and it'll leave you alone. Answer with anything else, and it'll force you to become a Strego too.
That sounds like you're getting invited to the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah.
The other school schemes.
Mate, do you want to come to... Do you want to come to... the meet up in the witch tonight? Norway. Once in a fishing village.
Why is it always a fish? It's Norway.
Always. Well, yeah, Norway is a fishing village.
Yeah, that's how I imagine the entire country. I can't imagine cities or anything. It's just
one big fishing village.
Yeah.
It happened that they didn't have enough liquor for Christmas, so a boy was sent down to the boathouse to get more. When he had tapped a jug from the barrel, he turned around to see a huge drog, evil undead from the sea, in the door opening, blocking his way. He hurled the jug at the drog, causing it to fall back down into the sea. The boy ran as fast as he could, but he could hear a flock of drog chasing after him. When he got to the graveyard, he jumped over the wall and shouted, "Rise, all those who rest here, and help me!" He continued running, and after jumping over the wall on the far side of the graveyard, he could see the drogs coming as a huge flock over the first wall. But now the graveyard dead had also started rising from their graves. As he fled, he could hear the noise of a furious battle behind him. At home, people refused to believe him, but when they came to church on the morning of Christmas Day, they could see the area from the graveyard down to the sea strewn with coffin planks and wreckage that the drogs and the undead had used as weapons.
I quite like that. It really gives me zombie vibes, but I know, so modern zombies come from, witch doctors and stuff, Caribbean, African.
Yeah.
Folklore, really. But, do you guys know of any other, examples of zombies, almost?
Romania. Of the children who were born marked with a membrane that covers their bodies. Scolomancer comes and takes them to their caves at the edge of the world. Here, the devil teaches them how to summon and control cloud dragons, and how to control the weather. 1 out of 7 children will fully graduate. They learn all enchantments and charms over the course of 20 years. The Scolomancers ride dragons in the sky, and this is what storms are.
That's a really,
That's really cool.
I like, that's like a, well, you know, one thing I've been really interested in the Indo-European migrations.
Honestly, I'm going to tell Ozzy this.
Yeah, and I've been really interested in skyfathers and why so many cultures have skyfathers. Like, look, you could argue Christianity's a skyfather. You know, you could argue Greek mythology, skyfather, which is really weird because to the Greeks, Poseidon should be a more important god because really they're more of a sea people.
Yeah.
So why do they have a skyfather instead? And again, like, you know, Norse mythology, Odin is a skyfather, and there's so many other examples throughout it. I want to know, I really want to understand what it is about the sky that humans are drawn to. I kind of buy into, you know, from Conan the Barbarian.
I think because it's just a scene with the sea as well.
Yeah, there's something
it's
powerful,
so big and vast that
and we've got no
idea what's out there. And
Yeah.
same with the sea, no idea what's under there.
I love the one from Conan the Barbarian where he's talking to his mate about my gods, the dwarves underground that hold the earth up. Saying, no, my god is in the sky. My god's better than your god because he's above your god. And I really love that mentality. I can't help but appreciate it.
Jersey. Old.
I'm going to have to use that for instead of saying just the names of it, just like the old version. Yeah.
I know of one about a water horse. Water horses are Celtic monsters that came in a number of variations, e.g. Cleffy...
Look, guys. Look.
I'm not even going to try.
Here,
a water horse lived off a bay and was infatuated with a very beautiful woman that would watch her from the sea. The beautiful woman would love a very handsome and brave young army officer.
This sounds like a Guardbros fucking waifu tale.
Yeah. The officer proposed to the young woman, and she very happily accepts. Unfortunately, war has broke out, and the young man has to go to war. The man is away for months, and the young woman is very sad. One day, she goes to the bay, and sitting on a dock of the bay. She goes to the bay.
This is supposed to be a serious video.
One day, she goes to the bay with friends to look out at the sea. There is her fiancé standing on the beach. She runs to him, but he's soaking wet, seaweed in his hair. She asks him what's wrong, and he says they need to go into the sea together. She doesn't want to go. He insists.
Is this like reverse Little Mermaid?
This
is like where Little Mermaid came from.
She still doesn't want to go. He grabs her and drags her towards the sea as she screams. Hearing the commotion of the argument, and her friends call for help, a rider appears and charges the struggling pair. It's the young woman's fiancé, the real one. He stabs, shoots in some tellings, the imposter. Mortally wounded, the imposter releases the woman and returns back to his true form. The imposter is revealed to be a water horse. The dying water horse turns to stone as it dies, creating an island in the bay that can be seen to this day. The young woman and man live happily ever after. Let me guess, is the island shaped like a water horse?
Must be, yeah.
Must be.
From the sky. That's actually good. I love that sort of shit though. Mm-hmm. Again, it's very Finn Mccoll.
Yeah.
In
Giant's Claws, right? It just gives it.
One of the things I love about mythology and stuff is it helps to explain to the people of the day why things are the way they are. Why does this look like this? Why does this do this? And it's a way of humans to understand the world around them. I don't know. It's what do you guys think? Why is it that we...
I remember, maybe I dreamt this.
Yeah.
I probably did. But I remember hearing, you know, like, I think Northern Ireland have some, I'm not sure, but you know, like off at on the coasts, there's like these big arches that go out into the water.
Yeah,
and it's built of it's built of stone. Whack my mic, can I say sorry to you?
Yeah. I suppose it's kind of, you know, the weird thing is I imagine I'm talking to someone whenever I'm talking into the mic, and whenever me and Megan are talking to each other, we actually face each other when we're talking. It's really weird.
But those big stone arches, but it's naturally formed. I remember hearing that was... Honestly, maybe it was my dad, I'm not gonna lie, that it was a giant who dropped his glasses.
For all we know, your dad might have been making it up, but it does sound something like...
Yeah. Do you know what ones I mean?
I've heard them. I think I know.
Yeah, there was a giant who dropped his glasses.
What is it with giants? Like, giants make... I suppose it makes sense, like, you know, the idea of a huge human being, essentially. But giants just... They're the same as vampires. I believe there must be something very primal in humans. The idea of the dead coming back to life and haunting us. The idea of huge warriors. You know, I think there is something primal in a human brain that story just makes sense and appeals to us.
So, you guys like models? Yeah?
Yeah, you like models.
Heard you did. Because we have a warehouse sale on now. Well, I don't actually know how long it'll be running for because go quick.
Okay, so pretty much we moved from keeping stock to print to order about a year ago, but I'll just take a picture and show you guys. We have a ton of stuff.
Needs to go. And also £5 pin-up models. Like, £5. Go!
So, pretty much everything's half price, and just go ahead, check out and see what there is, because there's tons of it.
Quick! Every week, we're going to be doing a giveaway of the new pin-up model of the month, or, if models isn't your thing, all of our homebrew content. If you want to be in with a chance to win the giveaway, all you need to do is subscribe. That's it. Hit the subscribe button. That's it.
Do it now.
But last week's winner was this guy. Well done! Yay! Round of applause. Everybody stands up and claps. But enough of that. Let's get back to the video. Here's a fun Scottish one. At the top of the Royal Mall in Edinburgh, the street that extends out from the castle down to the bottom of the hill, which lies Holyrood Place, in front of the St Giles Cathedral, according to some the oldest Protestant church in Europe, is the Rose Stone, which is simply a series of cobblestones arrayed in the shape of a rose. It's the only place in the city where it's legal, and in fact encouraged to spit on the rose stone, because, as the legend goes, every time someone spits on the rose stone, an Englishman dies.
That's the most Scottish fucking fairy tale I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Also on the same street is a big bronze statue of Scottish humanist philosopher David Hume. Everyone rubs his big toe, which juts out for luck, which means that David Hume has a really shiny big toe.
big shoe.
Really big shoe!
Big shoe!
And just further down...
Honestly, you know, there's one thing about Scotland, I will give them. They do have some really fucking good TikToks.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and really short, like, some of the best clips ever. Disgusting! Like, that's peak.
I'm on the night shift!
I'll give them credit where credit's due. They are good at them.
And just further down is the tomb of Scottish economist Adam Smith, the man who invented capitalism. I say tomb, it's really just an enclosed gravestone, but it's open to the public and people from the world over will toss coins and money at his grave, which the church takes as donations. I dumped all my leftover euros there last time. I was over this year. Why did you bring euros?
Why?
And joked to my sister that I'd just gotten a 5% buff to my...
Yeah, I think I should make a pilgrimage.
Also, not so much folktale, but there is the Edinburgh Underground.
Oh, me and Megan went on to this.
Yeah.
We went to it. It was really good. It was really good. We went around Halloween, wasn't it?
No.
No, it wasn't actually. It was in the spring.
It was like May, James.
Yeah, we went in May. It was our anniversary.
Yeah.
But it was horror themed, so like...
There's the Edinburgh Underground, which is a portion of the city that has been hit by the Black Plague, which was then walled off and walled over. There's plenty of ghost tours through the underground, if you so please.
I would highly recommend it.
It was but we had a very good tour guide. He dressed up as like with a big top hat and all. Yeah, he was very eccentric. It was very good.
It was here. We'll tell them the story about.
I love and I also love that the entrance to the underground is beside like a kebab shop.
I was wondering.
And it's just like this wee doorway. You go through, and you have to go downstairs, but it's right beside the kebab shop. We were walking by, and it was late at night. I was like, "Me, I'm starving."
Yeah. No, honestly, I would highly recommend. We'll tell the story about Super Steve or Super Scott.
Super
At
Scott.
the end, that was an encounter.
By the way, in Edinburgh Castle itself, there's supposed to be a painting where the subject's foot is pointed at you, no matter where you are in the room. I've been in it and didn't notice anything. There's also the 1 o'clock gun. Yeah. See, back in the day, people didn't have clocks. The English had the 12 o'clock gun, where at noon, they'd have a cannon fire 12 times at noon. The Scottish, being economically superior to the English, did the same thing, but just had the gun fire once at 1 o'clock to save on ammunition. Smart. This is a practice maintained to this day.
Did I hear it though? I'm not sure what time, you know what I mean? Or maybe they fire 12 times to make sure it's like, no, it's definitely 12.
It's definitely 12. This is a practice maintained to this day, with a modern artillery gun, but with blank rounds. Then in nearby Glasgow, we have a couple of statue stories. One after the movie Braveheart came out, the city decided to make a statue of William Wallace, but they went and based it on Mel Gibson.
I'm not going to get into the factuality. It's a banging movie, though. I think anyone can agree Braveheart is a great movie.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fiction.
So when Mel went on his big rant about the Jews, the city was left not knowing what to do with this giant statue of Mel Gibson there. And then there's another statue. I forgot of who, but it's some guy on a horse.
Okay.
Well, at some point in time, somebody got drunk and went and put a traffic cone, on top of the statue's head. Well, the next day the police took it off, but then the next day, one of the guy's buddies put another one back on. This continued on and off until the city just decided to stop bothering to take off the traffic cone, to the point where it's become a symbol of the city of Glasgow. You can buy t-shirts of the statue with a traffic cone for a hat.
I mean, I think that's fun. I like that one. I like that. The only other statue I can think of, the ones in Dublin, is quite funny. The ones of the starving statues outside the front of all the... So on one side of the river in Dublin, it's all like shops, and it's like more of like what you would think of a city centre. Yeah. And then the other side, it's like all bars. It's all like office buildings, it's all like, the big buildings you would expect. Yeah. Like economic centres and all that. But they've got all these statues of like fucking famished beggars, and it's supposed to be a reminder of the greed of man and all that. It's actually quite good. And then there's another one of James Joyce, but
lying on a rock.
I know he's standing. So
who's the one lying on a rock?
I can't remember.
Outside St James. Is it St James Green?
I would need to get. No, you're thinking of the monolith that was for.
No, there's a fella lying on a rock. Yeah. That's James Joyce.
Was it James Joyce?
I'm telling you, it's James Joyce.
Well, they do love James Joyce in Dublin. Even though what I love about James Joyce is his absolute hatred for the Irish people. Yeah. Honestly, if you ever get the chance, read James Joyce. It's worth it. It's worth it.
There's also the fact that their old university seems to be cursed. See, Glasgow is the second biggest city in Scotland, and came to prominence in the Industrial Revolution. Edinburgh is more of the tourist destination with most of the old architecture in it, so Glasgow's got quite the chip on the shoulder about this. So they're rather keen to hawk the old buildings they do have. Well, one of these was a really old university building that caught fire for unknown reasons. It's Glasgow. Yeah. The city, at great cost, restored the building, and just as they had finished, it caught fire again.
Oh, Jesus.
Once again for unknown reasons, causing more damage than last time. And last I heard, they said they wanted to rebuild it again.
I'm in favour of that. This is something that I absolutely despise, is modern architecture. Yeah. I think modern architecture is the most, it's the most bland, dull, brutalist architecture should be banned. Yeah. I think it does nothing for
Belfast is disgusting.
Belfast copied Edinburgh, though.
Edinburgh is stunning.
Edinburgh is a beautiful city.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Dublin
is gorgeous as well.
It used to be nicer. It's turning more and more
into the Georgian part's lovely.
Oh yeah, it is. But again, you get that with any old city. I think Londonderry as well is worth. It's the
last walled city in Europe.
Yeah, I think it's worth checking out. Like, this isn't a tour guide or anything, but
Derry.
Yeah. So one of the ones I want to bring up would be
birds are going through this window. I'm sorry.
One of the ones I would like to bring up would be the Red Hand of Ulster. Again, this is ancient as fuck. We don't know how old it is, but it's definitely in the 3,000-year-old range, probably older. And there's so many different stories about the Red Hand, about where it came to be. The most popular, though, is about two kings. They're having a race to the land over yonder, they're sailing to it, and the deal is the first person to set their hand on the shore claims it for their own. So the king goes ahead and cuts his own hand off and chucks it onto the sea, and that's where you get it. There's also a few stories about, a king losing in battle, and he places his bloody hand on the rock or like a banner or whatever, and they manage
That's the one I heard.
Yeah, and they managed to get the banner off the battlefield. Essentially, what all the stories come back to is a form of self-sacrifice and hardship and spiting your own face to get what you need. Yeah. And what I really like about the Red Hand is, everyone knows the issues with Northern Ireland. Don't need to get into that, but both sides actually use the symbol. Yeah, it's very common. Sides, which is really unusual. You don't get that a lot of times with political conflicts, normally they have their own dedicated
Even
symbols.
The armies?
The army uses it as well still to this day.
Yeah.
It's a really common symbol, and I really like it. It's probably my
I remember...
What?
My dad was in the army. And I remember driving up the Newton Ards Road, and it's where all the Protestant murals are. And I was only about 5.
Yeah.
And there was a big one, the big red hand of Ulster for God and Ulster and all
Yeah.
that. I remember pointing at it and going, "Look, Daddy, that's on your uniform." And he goes, "Not fucking not."
yeah. You don't say if you're if you're in the army or you're in the police. It's better off just to be like, I'm a civil servant, and that's what my job is. I work for the government. That's what everyone says. I really want to hear what your guys' stories are, if you have any. And the thing is, all these stories make for great monsters, great encounters. I love all this sort of stuff, and and what I believe the stories and folklore of a country can tell you an awful lot about the humans that live there. Again, I'll go back to the Red Hand. Ireland is a place of suffering, let's be serious.
It still fucking is, my guy.
Yeah, it's always been poverty-stricken. It's always had its issues and
it's always had its troubles.
Yeah, for lack of a better word. And I do really appreciate the idea of, and again, it goes back to the Greek, you fella pushing the boulder up the hill. You just got to keep pushing. You know what I mean? There's no giving up. You have to just keep going with it, and that's what we're gonna just be stuck with. I think Russia does it as well, very well. But they understand suffering very nicely. Gulag Archipelago's you know what I mean?
Let's not talk about Russia.
Oh yeah, I suppose Russia's probably off the cards for the next few months for YouTube anyway. But you get what I mean. I think true suffering is amazing for literary work, and I don't know. I just really appreciate it. I think without great suffering, you need to understand, to get a good sense of mankind or the human existence, you need suffering, which isn't a good thing. No one wants to have suffering, but you need it. I feel like.
But yeah, let us know what you think about this video down below, and while you're down there, check out the website. Don't forget, we have a warehouse sale. Click!
Yeah. Get on to it. Oh, you boys have actually already deleted it, if I be honest with you. A lot of it's already gone. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, so you need to get on and have a look and see what's left.
I was supposed to be on this the whole way up until April, but I don't know if it's going to last.
Next week.
I don't know if we're going to have anything else.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was great. But definitely go ahead and check it out. Also, all the pin-up models are half price anyway.
Yeah, £5 for some titties. Get over it, my guys.
Someone left a good comment the other day, or yesterday, saying £5.
Megan, £5 for titties, me American. Whoa.
But yeah, let us know what you think. Also, I really want to hear your own. Don't give me some fucking Wendigos. I've heard enough
No,
Wendigos.
give us your own, and while you're down there, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!